This is my Nicolai Geometron G16 GPI EVO, and I've had it for nearly 10 years now. So to celebrate, let's give it a little wash and some fresh rubber. This bike's been more than just a riding tool for me. It's been a project, a prototype, and a partner in development. Let me explain. Nice. Ta-da! Further to what I was saying, this has been a prototype and a project, and I've been a partner in development. Originally, 10 years ago, when I first approached Chris Porter at Geometron Bikes, he was developing the early stages of the Geometron, and only the derailleur version had been released, and I was one of the first to put my money where my mouth is and go for the gearbox version. The Geometron back in the day was a groundbreaking philosophy of bike geometry. This bike, when I first got it, was ridiculed at the time for being a long barge that would be impossible to turn around corners. But in those 10 years, we've kind of proven that to be wrong, and most of the bike industry has now moved towards this type of setup. We've changed geometry, we've changed suspension setup, we've changed the dropout system. There's been a lot of component changes since then, but ultimately this is the same bike as it was 10 years ago, with just some minor refinements. The gearbox, of course, being the primary attraction for this bike. You pair that with the carbon drive belt system, and you've got a drivetrain made in heaven as far as I'm concerned. Now, yes, the bike is heavy. This bike weighs in the best part of 18 to 19 kilograms, which is on the heavy end of a leg-powered bike these days. But that weight is a trade-off for durability, longevity and reliability, most importantly for me. I would much rather carry around a little bit of extra weight to make sure that I got home safely. Yeah, the bike is heavy, but the weight's in a good place. It's down at the bottom bracket area, so it's right at the bottom of the bike. It's low slung, which actually increases stability. And we're seeing that a lot from people recognising that from e-bikes now, with the battery and the motor adding that extra weight to the lower part of the bike and creating a lot of stability. Even downhill riders were using weights, and have done for a long time, to balance out their bike and create different suspension kinematics by strapping lead weights either to the bottom bracket or the head tube. That's not secret by any means. And I think it's just taken a bit of time for people to get round to understanding that weight is not the defining factor of a mountain bike. It's something that we've chased for years coming from the road bike world, but actually weight offset with durability and reliability is an important factor when trails and races and everything are getting more and more and more extreme over the years. By removing the derailleur and the cassette from the rear of the bike and having that weight centralised in the sprung mass, we're also reducing the unsprung mass on the back wheel, which improves suspension performance, and again, coupled with the Gates carbon drive belt, you're looking at almost no noise from the bike when you're riding down the trail. It's quite something to behold when people have a go. They always realise, oh wow, it's so quiet, not expecting that it would be quite that dramatic. But when you get used to it, going back to a chain-driven bike is hella noisy. The bike feels stable, composed and balanced, especially when it gets rough, and a few extra pounds or grams, depending where you're from, is a small price to pay for that added reassurance of durability and reliability. Making sensible decisions about these things and not being misled by marketing and sneaky tricks is definitely something to take into consideration when investing in your next bike. And you know, I love to tinker, but under pressure, under the constant flow of work, coaching, guiding, I really don't want to have to be doing a lot of maintenance and spending a lot of time on my bike, as much as I do enjoy it. I prefer to tinker, to modify things in terms of functionality, rather than having to just do general maintenance and wear and tear replacements. The reduction in upkeep cost savings over time and the increase in reliability and reduction in unnecessary consumerism behaviours mean a lot to me, and I would always encourage people to put their values into their decision making when it comes to their next investment. And so this bike actually represents a wider set of values to me. The construction materials are mostly metal, which is easily recyclable come the end of its lifetime. The belt and gearbox reduces the amount of waste produced and energy consumed in the cost of production. It's also a large factor in avoiding large corporations. I think we need, as consumers, we need to be a little bit more aware as to who and what we are funding when we spend our money. It's one of the few powers that we do have to actually be able to affect change by choosing how we make our investments and where we make our investments and who those people are that we are investing in. And that's one of the main reasons that, again, I put my money where my mouth is, because I got to meet one of the creators, the Chris Porter, when I first approached him at Mojo. He was just off the back of a large corporate misdemeanor, falling out, shall we say, and it really stung him, and I identified with that. And so the collaboration over corporation phrase was banded about at that point. And obviously he, working in conjunction with Nicolai, Geometron and Nicolai, collaborated to create these bikes. That's an interesting setup for people when you're not used to it. A lot of people have those questions. So who actually makes the bike? Is it a Geometron or is it a Nicolai? Well, it's both. Geometron is the technical development outfit based down in Monmouth on the England-Wales border. And Nicolai, who are a boutique bike manufacturer in Germany, they had a great reputation in the industry for producing high quality metal frames. So they were a natural partner and were willing to make that collaboration happen. I'm very aware of Callie, the founder of Nicolai, and Chris, the founder of Geometron, and what I'm investing in when I gave them my money. Neither of these companies are huge multinational corporations, and things are produced locally, employing highly skilled craftsmen. We're creating jobs and value and investment in our own space. When you support your local economy and people you know, you are no longer supporting business and profit. You're really supporting craftsmen and engineers and quality produce, which is a long-term investment both in what you're buying but also the future of your economy and surroundings. And that's why, since investing in this bike, I've had great communication with all involved. Other people have been involved as well. Hope are a massive player in that same kind of locally produced equipment. They make all their stuff in Burnaldswick up in Lancashire, and they're proud to champion British production and supporting the local economy, and I'm on board with that too. The personal service that I received from Geometron and Nicolai meant that as the years passed by, we became and developed a relationship that became a partnership. Then we started making modifications, getting feedback. I was probably one of the most prominent gearbox and belt users at the time, and therefore I had a lot of feedback to give them with my riding in all sorts of conditions all through the winter, consulting on durability, reliability, and those types of things that are essential feedback in developing a bike like this. Over the years, this bike has seen all sorts of different parts. It's a bit like Trigger's broom now. We've got different linkages, different shocks, different swing arms, all sorts of stuff going on, different dropouts even. I even pioneered a little bit of it all by myself, and I built the roller snubber for the rear cog on the belt. I created a ball bearing version that runs on a little extension where the hard plastic snubber used to be, and now we've got a little roller bearing there, so when the belt tries to lift off and pushes against that surface, the bearing slips with it and encourages it to go through. That's actually been a tremendous success, and I'm super proud of my home engineering for that. It's quite a simple thing, but it's been very, very effective, and that improved the system no end. So what I've ended up with is an evolution over 10 years of the G16, which I like to call the EVO. You can't buy this anymore because we've now put all this feedback and a whole bunch more into the G1, which is available for sale now. A couple of the interesting developments for the G1 are that it has a new belt tensioner system. As much as I fed back and would like to have improved the existing one, it actually required some quite fundamental changes to the frame that restricted us from being able to add that to this bike. So the G1 carries a new belt tensioner, which is spot on, and well done guys at Nicolai for getting that problem effectively solved now. The G1 also has Pinion's new electric shifting component. So we do in a way with the twist shifter. As much as I was a fan of the twist shifter in the end, I think it was something that put a lot of people off. So yeah, the G1 has electric shift, a new belt tensioner, updated geometry and frame hardware, all the usual adjustability, and I am super excited to get my hands on my G1. So after nearly a decade with the G16 GPI, I can honestly say that I have loved the process. I've loved the involvement, I've loved the modifications. This bike was never about trends. It was about making something that lasts. And that legacy lives on in the new G1. If you guys have got any questions about this bike, the G16 or the G1, do feel free to drop me the comments down below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And also, if we get enough comments, then I might just make a follow-up video to help answer them. If you liked the video, don't forget to give it a wee thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, look out for more videos in the future. I think I'm back in the game, baby. See you in the next one.